All right, welcome to Ridge Church. We're so glad that you're here with us again this Sunday morning. My name is Krista. I'm your pre-service host, and we've been having conversations with many of our legacy crew. So that's anyone that's been attending our church for 35, 40, 45 years, some for many more years. And we've just been hearing some really rich stories around what it means to have been a part of this church, this community. And this morning we have another guest with us. Would you mind introducing us to who you are?
Oh, yes, I'm Larry Gustafson.
Yes, and what year did you start attending MRBC or Ridge Church?
Well, I was like many children. I actually was coming to Maple Ridge Baptist Church before I was even born.
Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. And what year would that have been?
Well, I was born in 1949.
Oh man, So you've been around for quite some time. Now for most people, who is your mom? Tell us who your mom was.
My mom is June Gustafson.
Yes, sorry. Yes, yeah. And you have this really great story of how you came into this world. Tell us that story.
Yes, well actually Mom has always been known as, because of her involvement in Daily Vacation Bible School. And the wonderful closing programs were so amazing.
Yes.
And she missed the closing program because she was rushed into Royal Columbian Hospital so that I could enter the world.
Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. You literally could have been born in a pew. That's beautiful. Now, many people talk about your mom as Auntie June, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. And I know she was really integral in the VBS and the children's ministry here. And tell us about when you started to sort of follow after Jesus. What did that look like for you?
Oh, well, for me, it was an easy decision because of the love that was around me and the love for Jesus that was around me. And so that wasn't a hard decision. I know sometimes when I was older in my teens and so on, I was kind of jealous of people who had sort of a rougher time in life and then come to know the Lord.
Right.
Because for me, it just seemed to be natural, and a decision that I wanted to make when I was young. And I, was so thankful for that.
Wow. Do you remember how old you were?
I was 4 at the time.
Wow.
I know that from being told. So I can't exactly remember
Yes.
the time. I just remember what it meant.
Wow. Now, all these years later, would you mind sharing, was it worth it? Is it worth it to have followed Jesus all these years?
Oh, I can't imagine it not being worth it. It's been a wonderful life and a very meaningful life.
Yeah, thank you. Thinking about sort of being involved in our church and sort of also in the fact that we've always been involved in the city and Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows, what would you say the impact has been on our town?
I think it's been a tremendous impact through these many years and continues to be as a place where people know and love the Lord and believe in something bigger than ourselves.
Right.
And want to share with others, not just share what we believe, but also share in other ways to help people in day to day.
Now, you talked about, DVBS or Daily Vacation Bible School. And so I know that would have been a big outreach sort of ministry. Is that right?
Yes, that was.
And so when you would have gone to school, you would have invited friends to that?
Yes, to Vacation Bible School.
Yeah. Was there any other ministries that were sort of like that would have been sort of outreach based?
Some that were ministries largely to those of us that were in the church already, but could include others.
Right.
Things like the vacations we'd go on together each year, the caravans with 10, 20, 30, up to I think 50 families or more, and then other guests that would come along with the families.
Right.
And travel up over the Hope Princeton Highway and go to a place in the Okanagan, and then just have the whole site, reserved there for us, and we'd spend a few days together.
That's amazing, because that wouldn't have really been a church event, put on by the church. Would it have been, or was it just something that you guys did because you were friends with each other?
It was something that a few people came together and
Yeah.
thought would be a good idea, and then
Yeah.
people were welcome to come along.
That's so neat, because again, that's that picture of really doing life together and being sort of like a family, even though,
Mhm.
I mean, some were related, right? But
Mhm.
there's a lot of people that weren't, and that just became like aunts and uncles and siblings almost, cousins.
Yeah, they did. I mean,
Yeah.
they really did. In
Mm.
fact, still think of the parents as aunts and uncles,
Right.
and still think of many of the people as cousins or even closer than cousins.
Yes.
'Cause
I know you shared with me a story of serving alongside some of your friends and sort of ushering. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
yeah, that was a neat thing, because that again showed how the church cared about young kids. I
Right.
can't remember how old we were, maybe 9 years old.
Yeah.
And Robin Robinson and I were, asked to be ushers.
Right.
And it was very special.
Mm.
Robin was outgoing. I was super shy,
Mhm.
but that helped. He and had to say hello to people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You couldn't just stand there being, oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's so neat.
And so that was special. Ministries like that, and then other opportunities. Great Sunday school teachers for
Right.
me when I was growing up, and amazing ones. I remember one who was probably in his 90s at the time.
Wow.
And a person who had been in his Sunday school class came and sat down. I think it was at a memorial service, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And he looked at him and asked how his younger brother was doing.
Wow.
He just remembered all of that, and he
Yeah.
had prayed for his Sunday school class members all the time.
Yeah.
I often feel guilty, as much as I loved being, with some very, very special young people as Sunday school students.
Yeah.
I didn't pray for them like Mr. Gerbrandt did.
Wow.
And yet I know lots of people were, and I was sometimes too,
Right.
not as regular as he did perhaps, but seeing them and being able to watch them into adult, as they became adults and went on
Right.
and have served the Lord in wonderful, wonderful ways.
Yeah, it's
So-
interesting to hear from you or other
Yeah.
people that sort of talk about just people that were faithfully praying for you and that actually really
Yeah.
cared about you in life, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't a duty or a job. It was something that was organic
Yeah.
and natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Neat.
so kids that grew up in the church had Sunday school teachers from, all the different ages,
Yeah.
and many of them praying for them
Yes.
regularly. And I know many were praying for me through the years.
Yes. Who would have been sort of that one person or a couple people or a program that would have, like a mentor or something that was really impactful in your life? Maybe more of a person? Is there someone?
Well, someone as people, but people in programs too.
Yes.
People like George Davison
Yes.
and Mr. Ladd,
Yes.
Ted Ladd,
Yes.
and then, as I mentioned, some of the Sunday school teachers, Mr. Workman.
Right.
And so there were so many
Yeah.
that were influential in that, and encouraged in different ways.
Right.
Also some who, I didn't mention Vern Middleton, I don't think,
No,
but
yes.
growing up with his testimony.
Mm.
And then the Birch family.
Right.
The Birch family was a tremendous, had tremendous impact on my life,
Mm.
because it was actually at the, we knew the Birch family well because they were friends with my grandparents.
Okay.
And I knew Art because he had come into the church sometimes as a young, when he
Oh,
was
really?
really, really young.
Yes.
And Mom always had a special place in her heart for Art.
Yeah.
But they were back on a home assignment
Yeah.
in Ladner, and their eldest son, John,
Mm.
was asked to take a message to, one of the parishioners in the church. And he had just finished fixing his motorcycle. And he was hit by a vehicle, and he passed away. And I was only 5, but I was at the memorial service. And at that service, many young people committed their lives to missionary service
Wow.
because he could. And I ended up having the privilege of even working with one
Wow.
that did that, and that became my, what I, really wanted to do for the Lord and for John and family was to, work towards becoming a missionary doctor, and had lots of encouragement in that over the years. My aunt, who gave me my first stethoscope at age 6.
Really?
And others, and my family doctor, who would always, every time I'd go in, we'd chat about how school was doing,
Right.
and he'd encourage me, and just those encouragements to follow up on that. So that, of course, has been very meaningful and has been through the years. And others in the Birch family, Helen Birch was my music teacher. I can't sing. She failed in teaching me to sing, but she did help me to love music.
That's beautiful.
And Dan Birch was the Dean of Education at Simon Fraser University, where I did my undergrad work and one of my references when I applied for medicine.
Right.
And so that family has just meant so much to me. And then meeting my wife Barbara at Bible school, with her commitment to being a missionary.
Right.
It's just, the Lord made it all work together.
Yeah. So then you did become a missionary, right? I know you were telling me sort of your this commissioning that the church had prayed over you and sent you guys. So do you mind sharing a bit around that?
Yeah, in the previous building, it was just overwhelming to see and feel and hear the support. In the old building, with and full as we were commissioned, and prayer for us as we went out, and knowing that the church was behind us, and it was, the way we kept hearing from the church, and taking on some of our support to be there, and just encouraging us and our children.
Wow. Where did you guys go?
We thought that early on that we would be going somewhere in maybe South America. We traveled down to visit Wycliffe in Mexico City, where and we visited with Harold and Marilyn Haynes there.
Yep.
And then another time I was able to do through the Medical Dental Society and so on, do a trip to Colombia and visit in prisons there. And all of this was coming sort of around the time when there were things like the Alma Ata Conference and World Health Organization Conference, and Health for All by the year 2000. We didn't make it. But it was so much about public health in medicine, and shocked at the high death levels among children in many parts of the world, and doing something about that. So that became the commitment, and was to work in primary health care. And we were able to do that at Chicago Christian Hospital, along with a wonderful team, including someone who was so dear to people in Maple Ridge that we had no trouble getting support, and that was Hannah Luke Becker.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Just a beautiful picture of God sort of, or just prompting you at age 5, and then seeing the fruition of that, and the fact that you were, you kind of accomplished these things because of his movement in your life, and being moved by a memorial of someone that was so young, right? Yeah. I wonder what your prayer for the next generation would be here at our church. Like, what do you hope for us?
Well, honestly, I hope for continued love being shown for kids, which it is so wonderful, and having opportunity to not just grow up here, but to become involved in different things. And even as really fairly young children, we can understand that special thing that comes from being able to serve, to do things for others, and do them in the name of Jesus.
Yeah. Wow. What do you hope, like, the next author, if they were to sort of write about the history here at Ridge Church, so not only being about children, but just like, what kind of a people do you want us to be?
Oh, well, just people that love the Lord and love each other. Yeah. And do you want to share that opportunity for that special blessing with other people?
So good. Any closing thoughts, Larry?
No, that's good. Just that thankful for this opportunity and
Thank
thankful for this church and everyone in it.
Thank you so much just for sharing. And it's just really, again, so amazing to sort of see. I know you and your wife, a little plug for OCC or Operation Christmas Child, you guys still continue to serve faithfully in that. And every year we kind of see our church come together and, donate different things or partner with that organization. And it's because of your guys' leadership. And so I'm sure you want to continue to encourage people that way.
Well, yeah, it's a lot of people's leadership and dedication. And it's so neat that, Joan started that so many years ago. And then we moved back to this area and or to the Lower Mainland, and she recruited Barbie to take that on, and it's just been such a blessing to be involved in that. So
Awesome. Well, thank you again for being here, and it's just been such a pleasure to hear your story.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.